But to get a sense of what's happening at the NGX, what's driving the sentiments, why are investors still bullish on stocks at the NGX? We have Onose Asotie-Enaulo, Senior Investment Analyst with Main Street Capital Limited, to discuss this. Onose, it's good to have you on the show.
Hi, Will. Thanks for having me.
Onose, so we're just, bullish again. So what are the stocks investors are eyeing at the moment?
So right now, for today, it is largely the industrial goods sector, because while the NGX is up, at the intraday, some major sector indices are down. Banking is down, consumer goods is down, insurance is down. So right now it's industrial goods and well, mostly total with oil and gas, but the the focus is mostly on industrial goods. I know we've seen a lot of interest in Boa Cement. Even this morning, Boa Cement was up quite a bit this morning, and we're also looking at Wapro and Dangote Cement.
Okay, so for Boa Cement, let's just zoom in on that. Are we going to continue to see this uptrend with that stock? What are we to expect from it in the near term?
Yeah, so today is actually their payment date for their dividends, 2024 full year dividends. So I won't be surprised if we see a slight pullback in its price action. But going off fundamentals, they did really well, like fantastically well for their Q1, 92% gross profits, 67% net profits. So their operations are really efficient and they're really profitable. And then with a lot of infrastructure projects that are expected to, even in the public and the private sector, it's expected that this their impressive margins will continue throughout Q2 and maybe even the rest of the year. So I'm surprised if we might see some pullbacks, a pullback in the near term, but over the next couple of weeks, Boa Cement is one company that I will definitely be looking at.
So it's a buy for Boa Cement, not a sell. So we'll just hold on to that, Nose. So we're looking at today, the CBN MPC started, the meeting today. Rate decision is going to be tomorrow, final day. We're going to hear that. What are your expectations, Nose?
Yeah, so in this kind of things, I try to look at everything that's happening right now with the monetary policy rate. Right now, yields are around 16%, so yields are declining. Now we know that the CBN, while they want to lower, the finance cost for their debts, they do not want to lose foreign portfolio investments. I believe in Q1, foreign portfolio investments was about $8 billion, and it's expected that it will well, some expectations places at 16 billion by the end of the year. On another hand, there is the problem of inflation. While headline inflation was lower last month, 22.22, food inflation and core inflation were a lot higher. So I believe right now the CBN wants to be cautious. While there might have been an expectation initially for a rate cut, I won't be surprised if the CBN kind of keeps rates constant if they don't raise it, right? So there is a possibility that they raise it, and I really won't be surprised, because even technically, if you look at the 10-year benchmark yields, we are currently at a dynamic support. Now, if you look at there's a median dynamic support from the year 2022, right? And the last time we came to that support was around February last year, where we had the run in yields where we started out. So I won't be surprised if we have a situation where whatever decision that the CBN comes to, we see an uptick in yields, in the fixed income market. So I do not see them really slashing rates. I would be surprised if they do. I see them either keeping rates stable or possibly even hiking rates a little bit.
Okay, the best markets have sort of priced in, all these numbers coming in, because what are the reactions from market players ahead of the decision tomorrow?
Usually, when you have like MPC and monetary policy decisions in the fixed income market, people are kind of tentative. Nobody really wants to get in and then be in a losing position. But I know there's an auction on Wednesday, a T-bill auction, and that's really now going to show us where the market is leaning, especially where the range that bids come into. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to know where market players are looking, and then where we can now take positions, or what we should expect from both the CBN today and market players on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely on us. But still on expectations, we're expecting the GDP, the rebased GDP, the anticipated rebased GDP from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. Now, new base year, we all know, is 2019. The last GDP report we had was for the last quarter of 2024, which was at 3.84%. What do you see for today when the MBS releases the GDP? What numbers, what figure do you think our GDP will currently standing at for Q1?
It's a bit dicey giving out figures in this context because I'm sure that there are a lot more the basket in which they measure. There's going to be even a lot more sectors in the economy that are going to be coming in. I won't be now. What I can say is this: while the figures can vary, the structure of what we've seen with the sectors that move the GDP, I don't think there's going to be so much of a change in that regard. Because even when you look at what has been going on in the economy, for the first quarter of the year, we're still going to see, I believe we're still going to see the services sector really be a driving force for economic growth when the GDP report comes out. But I also expect to see, some improvements in agriculture and, in the industrial sectors contributing to GDP growth. Even with, we already see that happening with companies with the stock market, which has kind of been a bit of an indicator, a leading indicator for even what you might expect. GDP reports with the GDP reports. So yes, we definitely will see a lot higher numbers. I think it's going to paint a picture that might be a lot more optimistic than the realities on the ground. But it should be fun to look forward to. But then again, services sector should still be the driving force for growth that I believe in the new reports.
Okay, so you did mention that services sector, the digital tech space is already like booming. But what will this rebase GDP now that they're going to be fully captured? The NBS talked about capturing the informal sector, the tech space. They're all going to be part of this, the database, the base data for the GDP analysis or determination for GDP growth in Nigeria. What does it mean for companies that are listed on the NGX, that are in this space? Or will we see more companies come on board now, maybe being listed? If they're being captured now, will we see growth for these sectors?
Yes, I think it's a huge possibility because I know even over here, when we're making investment decisions, we look at GDP and we look at sectors that have been growing or that show the potential for solid growth. So if you have a lot more sectors being captured, then definitely sectors that have posted or logged significant growth, especially over maybe last quarter or the last 2-3 quarters, depending on how it's structured, how they capture the data. I believe people coming into people looking at the new reports will see these sectors, and especially for foreign portfolio investors, because if we are going to see continued interest in the Nigerian economy from foreign portfolio investors, then they will want to get into industries that are growing or that have the best chances or the best prospects of growth. So if this like tech, the informal sector are added to the GDP basket, and then we can see and then use this data to project, then I believe that definitely, at least for companies that are on the NGX or that can be easily be invested in, we should see a lot of growth in these companies.
Fantastic. So it's first trading day of the week. How markets close today, and what are your expectations for the rest of the week?
I think the market will close positively today. It's already positive right now, and I think even the sell-offs that we see, even some in the banking stocks, it's not a lot. There isn't a lot of sell pressure. It's just what I see is a couple of people taking profit. So I believe we're going to be profitable today. I also believe we should be profitable this week. I won't be surprised if our margin of profit may not be as wide as other weeks, because we're pretty high up, especially for banking and consumer goods, which have been two sectors really pushing this rally. But I still believe that we should see a positive week.
Thank you so much, Nasser Sotie Naoholo, Senior Investment Analyst, Main Street Capital. Analysts did say that we are overbought regions now. Thank you so much for your perspective.